Welcome back to another episode of the NABC Guardians of the Game podcast. I'm your host, Tim Doyle, and today we're joined on the podcast by UCLA head coach Mick Cronin. You were an outstanding high school basketball player. You didn't play in college, but while you were in high school, did you ever dream about leading a program like a blue blood like UCLA?
Oh, heck no, man. I was going to be John Stockton, man. Come on. I was going to be John Stockton until I realized about my junior year, I wasn't growing, and then I blew my knee out. I think, but no, I never thought about, really never thought you'd shoot, back when you're 18, you know what you're thinking about. Come on, Tim.
Yeah, but so you blow out your knee. But then there's a realization of, all right, I like basketball. Maybe I'll get involved in basketball. But did you have a goal of like, I'll be a really good high school coach? Like I knew at a point, even though I was going to play Division I, and Gary Charles was leading my AAU team, I knew I wasn't going to be playing in the NBA, right? So there's this reality that sets in. So when you chose the path to coach, what was your ultimate goal at the time?
Once I got injured and I knew the playing thing was history, I went through a period of I wasn't going to coach at all. I was going to do business. I was good. But I will tell you this, once I decided to coach, my intent was always to coach college because I felt like I had spent my entire life, because I had, as the son of a high school coach, I felt like I had already coached 18 years of high school. Because I went to every one of my dad's games, every practice, rode every bus, every scouting trip with him. He's still my best friend to this day. I also knew high school coaching wasn't the best paying job. I had no interest in teaching. My dad also, he was scouting national scout for the Braves. So, my dad did a lot of things to put money on, food on the table for our family. So high school coaching was never in the cards. I said, you know what I'll do? I'm going to get into this. Fortunately, Jim Leon at Woodward High School gave me, the opportunity. But my intent from day one was to do the summer camp thing, meet every human I could meet, because I wanted to coach it. If I was going to do it, I wanted to coach at the college level.
Was that the smartest thing you did along your journey getting into the profession? Was just networking your butt off, meeting as many people? Because you did get into the college game. And now looking back on it, you had some pretty good mentors along the way. What was the smartest step you took as a young coach or someone trying to get in the profession?
Well, one was getting injured, right? So instead, my brother played NAI and had a great career.
Your brother's a better handicapper than he was a basketball player. Okay, let's go full transparency there.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Before he met Miller Lite, he was a heck of a basketball player. So Timmy played 4 years. Got a double major in accounting and finance, and and then has had a normal life of he owns Cronin Financial, his own mortgage company. So, not playing, getting injured, stopped me from having that 4-year experience of playing at a smaller college. And it sent me on my journey to coaching, probably because I felt unfulfilled. My basketball career was unfulfilled because of my injury. So that sent me down that road. But no doubt, look, I was real fortunate. Jim Leon, I mentioned at Woodward High School. We had some really good players, and I just – hey, look, while other people went, I never been on spring break. Like, most college guy with your hair, you went on spring break, man. Come on, man.
See, you want to know what's funny? Because I played at
That's right. You couldn't.
Well, then again, at Northwestern, we knew we weren't going to make the tournament, So I could start doing the scheduling. Once you go to 4-10 in conference, you're like, yeah, I don't think we're going to win the conference tournament, boys. Where are we going to go? Cancun this year?
Yeah. See. So for me,
but the question was like, was it working at 5-star? Was it going to clinics? Like, what was the smartest step you took as a young coach that got your foot in the door?
Yeah, it was all of it, Tim. What I did, like, I didn't have a normal college life, right? Because I was coaching at Woodward. I was driving kids home. I was running open gyms. So a weekend for me would have been before I was fortunate, I met Sonny Vaccaro, who changed my life and being close with him. Therefore, everybody would let me work their camp. You're close with Sonny Vaccaro in the 90s. You're in, you want to work camp, Howard Garfinkel's let you in camp. Everybody's opening the door for you. So either I was working at camp, or I was going to an AAU tournament, scouting players.
While you were in college?
Oh, yeah. This was all, I was a high school, I was coaching high school.
Yep.
And then I was doing camps and being close with Sonny, and we were doing the ABCD camp. I was scouting players for the camp. And then we started giving shoe deals out to AAU guys. So I would go to AAU events on Memorial Day weekend. Everybody else was at the lake partying.
Yep.
I was at an AAU event watching Wallace Prather and the Atlanta Celtics, telling Sonny Vaccaro, hey, give these guys a shoe deal. They got an unbelievable program. I was like 22 doing all that stuff, by the way.
That is amazing. Yeah. I mean, those are the decisions you make, you know what I mean? And you can go out, you could socialize, or you want to get locked in on your profession, because no offense, and this is not meant to be, I can't believe how young you are, because you've been doing it as long as I've been in college. I played at Northwestern 03 to 07. Previously, I was at St. John's in 2002. And now I've had I've had a whole life after college, and you're still a head coach, and you're not even 50 years old yet. Do you feel like you're 100 years old?
I tell you, after them close ones, you do. I started early. I'd say, my advice to people out there is, man, you just got to be willing to sacrifice,
Yep.
Like I see those guys, I identify with like some of those tech guys, although I didn't drop out of school and I'm not a billionaire, but they were dream chasing at 20, 21. So like, to your point, working 5-star for the great Howard Garfinkel and meeting the powers that be in New Jersey, like Jimmy Salmon, okay, and Gary Charles, Gary DeCesar, Mo Hicks at Rice. Like, I knew all these guys when I was 21 years old, so I was dream chasing at 20, 21, while others were being 20 and 21, right? They were on spring. Like I said, man, I've heard that spring break was a hell of a time, but I wouldn't trade my journey because, my journey, like you said, my journey's what got me to where I am, and got me opportunities at a younger age, because it's hard, once you get married in our business, and, you don't have time to just the drop of a hat to get to go do something. Or like Bob Huggins hired me for $800 a month, Tim.
Wow.
$800 a month was my first job. $800 a month.
Where were you living? Where were you living then?
I thought I was rich.
Where were you living?
My two buddies, man, Tom Sweeney and Rick Stocker, man. We lived in a, let's just say, it wasn't the best neighborhood, but we loved it. We loved it. We were living in a rehabbed house not near the University of Cincinnati while we were all doing whatever, chasing what we were chasing. But
yep.
$800 a month, baby. Rent.
Wow.
My rent. I remember we split. It was $500. Our rent was $500 a month, 3 ways. That's what I remember.
I met you about 2 years ago. I was doing a Cincinnati game, and I was not calling a lot of AAC games at the time. So I had heard about, coach is difficult to deal with, and he's, you got to catch him in the right mood and stuff. And then like hour and a half later, you and I were talking mostly about four-legged friends, but we had a connection there. And, the conversation morphed into families, and I kind of aligned myself with coaches because the broadcasting was a dream for me, and I got into the field. But now as I'm getting older, I got young kids, I have bills, I have responsibilities. How much has that changed your focus now that you have a family, right? You have a daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And what did that do to your decision-making throughout the whole process?
Yeah, well, my career has been shaped. Once my daughter was born in 2006, people have different times in their life, that people go through things. And man, Tim, a lot of people going through a lot right now, right?
Yeah.
People have lost their businesses, and, times are tough for a lot of people. But man, the toughest time for me was knowing I was divorced. And so I had to build that program at Cincinnati after I got divorced, and I had to make it work. Because if not, I was not going to be in the same city. You know, I was going to have to get a job to be able to pay child support, odds or my daughter was going to be growing up in a different city away from me. And I can't tell, like, that would have been probably impossible. I'd have probably had to get out of coach. I don't think I could have done it.
Wow.
You know, I couldn't be away from her. You know, a lot of my decision to come here to UCLA was her. You know, she loves writing. She's messing around with the acting. She's got her dad's great looks. You can laugh. You can laugh. Yeah. So
I was thinking Dan's the better looking one of the two of you, but I don't want to get into that.
Oh, no. No, she's got her mom's. Fortunately, she's got her mom's looks. So, just opportunity for her. You know, she's biracial. Obviously, LA is a much more liberal place, much more inviting to people in her demographic. Just opportunity for her to, I'm a big believer in seeing the world. Like, I never thought I'd be able to, like, when I left Cincinnati, man, when I left Hugs in 2001, I never thought I'd go back, Tim. I mean, who dreams? The only way is going to go back is the head coach. Who thinks that's going to happen? Right. Like some history. You
got back there relatively quickly. I mean,
yeah, I didn't see it. 5 years I was gone.
Like I was looking at the math of your journey and just the different guys you recruited, you know, growing up in New York. I mean, I lost twice in the state championship to Kenny Satterfield.
It's my guy.
We talked about Gary Trolls was my AAU coach. Gary DeCesar, he had referees cheat us out of a game in my junior year, and then he was supposed to come out my senior year to Long Island. Never showed up. But that journey took you back to your home city. And you had great success at Murray. You come back home, you build a program, tournament after tournament after tournament, and now you go to UCLA. When you step foot on campus there with all that history, but in a completely different region of the country, did you have a moment of like, oh boy, maybe I made the wrong move here?
Yeah, early on, my first season, it was tough sledding, right? But, rebuilding the culture was tough. I hadn't had, it had been a long time. I'd been comfortable at Cincinnati. I went through all that already. And I didn't realize how hard that was going to be because it had been so long. So yeah, that was, early on it was tough, but, I'd always been in love with Southern California. I'd come here a lot.
How can it not be?
Right. Yeah. You got to be able to afford it. If you can afford it, it's the best. So, But
how about recruiting? Like, were your networks pretty strong out there because you had such a great base?
Strong enough. Yeah. Okay. Strong enough. Not near what it is now, being here every day, but I knew all the major players, Ato, the Compton Magic guys. Longtime friend of mine, he arguably the best AAU program in America. Now, Russell Westbrook's got a program. So he's big, and just different guys that I know, Ryan Silver with the Under Armour. So I knew them all, a lot of high school coaches out here that I've known for years and years. So, but that all being said, opportunity is everything, right? I mean, opportunity to be the coach for me. Look, let's call it this way, Tim. I can't talk about recruiting, but let's just say 5-star guys find me as a lot better coach nowadays, right? We signed Dacian Nix last year. Also, he's in the G League, but we signed Peyton Watson early this year. All of a sudden, 5-star recruits find me a lot to be a lot more attractive than I was when I was at Cincinnati. Now, I'm the same guy.
I think you look the same too. Yeah,
right,
not to say.
Right. Hey, these 4 letters, buddy, right here. These 4 letters carry a lot of weight in recruiting. And look, man, you only live once, and for me, you get to be the coach where John Wooden sat. It's just an amazing experience. To really answer your question, every day when you drive to work, we practice in the mornings. I just got done taking with my operations guy, taking an hour and 20-minute walk around our campus. I mean, it's unbelievable, man. It's amazing.
Tell me your philosophy of practice in the morning. Have you done that a long time? When I was at St. John's, Mike Jarvis implemented that And I hated it. You want to know why? Because I had to go home at like 11 o'clock when I was at the bar. Like I was like, I gotta get home. We got practice in the morning. Like it worked on me, coach, because I was like, I was always like, I gotta
See,
get
for
home.
guys like you.
That's why he did it. It is. I hope you have better student athletes than me, but is that a thought process to maybe rein in the guys a little bit?
Not really. No, we talked to our guys about it. Here we have some options with scheduling that are flexible for our guys.
Okay.
And so no, we're not John Chaney early. No, we practice at 9:30.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, we practice at
yeah,
9:30.
I mean, he used to practice at 5 or 6. I know
Yeah.
Coach Jarvis was around 7 a.m. And when I transferred out of St. John's, when other schools were pursuing me, I was like, so what time do you guys practice? That was like my first question. Because I got to be honest,
love it.
When you wake up right away in the morning, and I love basketball. My dad played in the NBA, played for Al McGuire. I have 2 brothers that play Division I basketball. I love basketball. It's been a huge part of my life. But when I open my eyes in the morning, like cutting back door doesn't really do it for me. You know what I mean? I want to have like a glass of water. Like I want to kind of relax. And like what I always liked about practice was I like going to class or taking a test I did well in. Like I like the journey of the day. And that would kind of set my mode of like, all right, now it's practice. Like now it's go time. And like I would go into practice, like looking forward to practice. When I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, I was never once being like, this is what I want to do. Guard Marcus Hatton full court. Like, this is horrible.
Yeah. That's not it. You couldn't do that anyway, no matter what time of day it was.
That is true. People don't know.
But I say, you know, we because of COVID testing now, we got to come in and get tested, and our guys got to wait around. I mean, you know, it is every day, but yeah, we actually start around 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So yeah, I'm not a big, that early morning stuff. Nobody wants to do that, man. But I tell you what, it does help if things are normal. In LA, there's a little thing called traffic. There's also a lot of players. So all you got to do is be able to get in your car to recruit, but it sounds easy. It depends where you got to go.
Well, so I've seen Saturday Night Live. Like, you ever see the Californians?
Like it's the best, isn't it?
It is
Kristen
great.
Wiig. Yeah. So we get on, you know, when you're done, it allows you though, if you're done, you got the rest of your day to recruit. You know, for us, we got the rest of the day to recruit. So the players like it though. They said they prefer. That's why I did it. They wanted to go at 10, 9:30, 10.
No, I do prefer that better. You know what I mean? The 6 or 7 was rather early. That was a tough one.
I would never do that. You know, I think, look, I'm hard enough. You know, I'm demanding as a coach. Like, you know, your players are going to find enough reasons to get mad at you. Don't give them anything extra.
I got a couple more questions for you. Your first job was working for Bob Huggins. What were the most important lessons you learned from him? Because I don't want to say you're similar, but I think that he has a persona about him that you know differently than what he's portrayed in the media. And like it or not, you kind of have a similar thing. Did you pull anything from him or not? Like, what similarities, what lessons did you learn from him?
Well, first of all, I pulled the opportunity of a lifetime to work for him, right? Which I owe him forever for that. I would say, you know, the best thing that in our business, when you coach at the high major level, and there's just, you know this, Tim, you've been around, there's a lot of people that are into coaching. They're worried about their outfit, their courtesy car,
right?
Their gear allotment. You know, Coach Huggins taught me right from the jump, and my father too, because you know he's with the Atlanta Braves. He's a great high school coach. Coach Huggins doesn't worry about any of that stuff, man. You know, worry about what you need to do to win games, get players, help them grow up and mature, get eligible, you know, get admitted. You know, he worried to do your damn job, man. You know, guys that are worried about their gear allotment don't last in our business. They just don't. You know, guys that are worried, either more concerned with their pocket square than what the other team's going to run on a baseline out of bounds. You want to coach against them. Like, that's just, I mean, he would say that to me, you know, and he said, I was young. I was very fortunate, you know, as Coach Huggins is very direct, which is the best. That's why I love him. You know, and that's just the facts, man. You better be, you know, and the reason he's lasted, that's, you know, he he doesn't worry about anything but his players and winning games. Players, you know, he worries about his players, his people, and winning games. He does not worry like all that other stuff.
Yep.
Like right now, he won't admit it. The guys say, I mean, he's got his first dollar. It's somewhere in there.
Well,
It's
I can tell by his outfits. Don't tell him I said that. Yeah.
No, he's gonna. Somebody needs to send him his clip. You know, it's in there somewhere. It's in there. But I say it don't matter to him. Like that's not why he coaches.
Right.
You know, I mean, he, you know, guys like us, we didn't grow up with anything. Our dads were high school coaches, so we're worried about saving in case something goes bad. You know, and he taught me that. You know, he taught me that as a young coach about saving, because you never know. But man, he taught me to focus on things that matter to him. You know, my time with him was invaluable.
It's interesting because then you went from him to Coach Pitino. Now, Coach Pitino's from my neck of the woods. He went to St. Dominic High School. Never once got a letter from him, so obviously I wasn't good enough to play for him. But we have a lot of connections. Both grew up on Long Island and stuff. It's interesting because, for lack of better words, he likes his nice suits.
Oh yeah,
he likes his pocket squares. He likes owning the ponies and stuff. He enjoys the limelight of it. Talk to me about some other differences between those two guys while you were a young assistant coach.
Yeah, well, you know, Dress for Success, obviously, Rick Pitino. You know, Success is a Choice, one of the best, still one of the best books ever. Young coaches that watch this, young guys that don't know that, you know, it's been out a long time now. The original one, his first book, well, I think that was his second one, but Success is a Choice. But, you know, dress for the job you want, not the one you have. You know, so there was there's a purpose behind, you know, his outfits, you know, especially as a younger coach. Look who he was in the Big East against. You know, you're trying to get recruits. So there was a purpose behind all that.
But there's a difference, you know, and now here and, you know, kind of flushing it out with you, it's almost like you had this opportunity to go through both of these guys and kind of pick what you want and make it your own. Is that what you did along the way? Like you were like, oh, I like what he does there. Or did you kind of mimic one stuff? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, you got to be yourself ultimately.
Right.
You know, you got to be yourself. But you know, as far as game preparation, coaching, style, dealing with your administration, you know, you're talking about learning from the two of the best ever to do it. So those are the two guys I worked for. So I was very, you know, unbelievably fortunate to have that training and to still be able to call them, you know, and ask them, run, you know, if I need to on stuff like that. So, but yeah, very, you know, I would say the funny, you know, Coach Huggins, we got a lot of work done at night. Coach Pitino, we got a lot of work done in the morning. Like Coach Huggins, you know, we got a lot of recruiting calls done at night. Might have been a few drinks involved.
Yep.
You know, the Coach Pitino, we're 6:30 a.m. We're at the crack of dawn. You're in there working, man. So it was great times. Just so lucky to have been with both of them.
Yeah, I mean, kind of reading about you before and preparing before we got on this chat, and now it's all starting to make sense. And you deserve to be where you're at, you know. And I talked about, feels like you've been coaching forever, but Sonny Vaccaro, some of these names that you're mentioning along the journey, you know, you're going to look back on this. I know it's kind of hard because you're in it right now and you're in it thick in the middle of your season, but it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing story. It was my last question for you, because we talked about some of the great coaches, great personalities, but your dad, Hep. Give me your most special moment, father-son, that you had throughout your life. It could be basketball related or not.
Yeah, a lot of them, you know. I would say, well, right now, I'd say the hardest part, Tim. I haven't seen him in a year. So
he knows how to FaceTime though, right?
Oh yeah, we do that. But you know, we beat Arizona State on a buzzer shot, 2020. COVID happened a couple of weeks later, and you know, trying to be responsible and not get on planes, and obviously just trying to quarantine. I haven't, you know, I talk to him every day. He's my first phone call every day on the way to work. That's probably what I enjoy more than like one moment. Like, it's just been a lifetime of unbelievable father son. You know, you grow, right? It's father son, then it's a friendship thing. And then since I've had success, then I've been able to give back to him, where people don't know at Cincinnati, man, he sat next to me on the charter flights and we roomed together.
It's great.
Once I talked him into retiring from the Atlanta Braves, and yeah, I mean, so that, like, I'm talking every game, charter flights next to me, we were roomed together. Just great times, man. I will tell you, there was a time we started doing that, and once I got the job at Cincinnati, I told him he had picked up his last meal. He's never paying another bill. But we were in New York one time, and we, eating at a really nice place, and I told him I had to go to the bathroom, and I told the waiter, "Hey, go give that guy the bill and tell him you need it paid right away." And I was just hiding around the corner watching. He's looking, waiting to see if I'm going to come back. We had a lot, it's been, but I miss him. I miss him dearly, man. When this season's over, that's the first thing, I'm either going to Cincy or he's coming here. But right now, because I'm just trying to stay, we're trying to keep it locked down.
Yep. No, and you've done an amazing job out there. Last year, Coach of the Year in the Pac-12, and this year, a team that's going to be so dangerous in March. I may meet you in that Cincinnati area. Just drive like an hour further south, and there might be some four-legged friends running in that April for that Keeneland.
I heard they're going to have some fans at Keeneland, buddy. I heard they're going to have some fans.
So keep me in mind, Coach. Thanks so much for your time. It was a lot of fun.
All right, buddy. Thanks for having me, Tim.
And thanks for tuning in for the NABC Guardians of the Game podcast. Coach Cronin, UCLA, big 4 letters. He's got a big, bad squad this year. Check them out. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next time.
You got it. 4's up.